already. 2 years ago, NiP did lift the trophy, and now they're looking to take a step towards it. His versus Navi. What an opponent to try and face to get to the Lanxess Arena. And of course, I've got three very handsome men to talk about it. I've got myself, Thor, and Yenko, and Blue. Gentlemen, this is, I mean, we've got a small amount of time to talk about an incredibly big game. One map between NiP and Navi. I think the first thing I'd like to start is actually a bit of a form check for NiP, because, you know, they've run away and boot camped after the DreamHack Summer results and stuff. But Duncan, could you quickly just set the scene? Like, we were hyped about them for a while after Malmo. Where are they at?
It's not like they've been bad. Like, for example, they went to ESL Pro League Season 3 finals, and they did make it to semis there, and they played against Luminosity. I think it was a 3-map affair even, so pretty good performance considering that's the best team in the world, the favourite for this major. Then they had DreamHack Summer, where unfortunately they were actually beaten by Immortals, so people would have thought maybe they could go ahead and win that one there. Actually, was it good? No, it was Immortals who beat them, yeah. So they were beaten by Immortals there. They didn't quite like deliver on the, because since that was a lower tier tournament, you expect if you're a favourite, okay, when the other big teams out there, you're supposed to take care of business, win that trophy. So that was one little dip. Then at ECS, obviously they had their issues there, so they didn't quite come through in terms of the form. So unfortunately, they've had like some spikes, but they've never quite hit that peak that they were at Malmo, where they really looked like the form looked very good, the style looked like it all worked, and all these players were hitting as well. Like you had Pith, you had Exist having big performances. People like Exist, I think, are the players who've dropped off a bit in the time since then.
And a lot to prove for Navi as well, not forgetting, you know, overcoming injuries in Columbus finals, and Guardian now back in form, back in the roster. A lot for Navi to try and get into the Lanxess Arena.
Definitely, and they've been playing a slightly fewer amount of tournaments that maybe NiP. They've lost at the Star Ladder tournament in the finals to Virtus Pro, and actually at Malmo, that was the NiP Navi Grand Final where NiP managed to win 16-14 on both maps. So they're pretty hungry as well after losing the last two major finals. I think Navi is definitely, you know, on a mission to prove that they can actually make it this time all the way.
I still don't feel like Navi's shown a very weak form overall. They've always been strong. They've always been fairly consistent. Even with Guardian going away for the time, now coming back, it's not necessarily, he's not the amazing, incredible player that he was before, but he's still a very prominent one. And I mean, as we saw from the plays yesterday, he's still bringing this top tier performances to the game.
Yeah, I think the reason why people get a little bit down on Navi, it's true they're not winning tournaments, but they still make it to the finals of all the tournaments they're in. The one thing you could maybe say that shows a little dip in form is the reason they haven't been at these tournaments, ECS, ESL Pro League, is because in online form they haven't been good enough. So for whatever reason, the online component, they don't get to the LAN finals. So it's true they haven't played as much of the circuit.
And now, we talk about Guardian, we like to do occasional comparisons. I think Forest is a player that's worth highlighting at the moment, as he's been shifting more and more towards his AWP role. Duncan, what do you think when you put these two players side to side? Can Forest compete with, you know, we call him the best AWPer in the world often. Forest picking up the AWP, does there have to be a comparison?
Right, as it stands right now in current form, it's very map dependent. Like on certain maps, on CT side of certain maps, I certainly think Forest could compete again with Guardian, because Guardian himself, since he's come back, hasn't been that guy who just is head and shoulders above every other AWPer, one of the 2 or 3 best players, forget AWPers in the whole world. He hasn't really been at that level again. He's been good, he has his rounds, he has his halves, but...
When was he at that level?
Well, just before the final of MLG Columbus, sadly. Like, leading up to that point in time, he was still a very, very strong player, and that's why a lot of us, in fact, almost everyone I talked to at the time, favoured Navi to win that major. We thought that was like their time, it was destiny, but unfortunately, that's when we really kind of found out that was the breaking point in terms of the injury, because the key detail is, it's only for the final he had to put his sensitivity up that high. Even the other matches, he could play through the pain, or he wasn't limited in his motion, but sadly in that big moment he was so outplaced in terms of unable to play, he had to basically use, to give it the sports equivalent, like different equipment essentially. So it's no wonder that ever since then we've never quite seen him get back there. I think he's overcome the injury. I've seen him play enough games now. He still looks like Guardian, but he's not the superstar right now.
And that major was still eluding them, Yenko. You said Columbus was theirs. Could Cologne? I mean, is this a winnable Navi? Could they take the final?
I mean, it's definitely possible. There are a lot of things that we have to take into account here, but I feel the biggest point is which Navi will show up, right? If they're on their A game, they can play against any team in this tournament. But if they're still struggling, if they're still not back to their form, they can be beaten by a number of tournaments here. It's really competitive.
Right, let's start talking maps, gents. NiP Navi, you said already, we recently saw them in the Malmo finals. Think any of those maps are going to crop up again, Duncan?
I think Cobble's certainly a possibility, because we know NiP since then has really established themselves. That's one of their maps. NiP, here's the key detail that makes this a fun matchup, is NiP's permaban is usually overpass anyway. That's obviously a Navi classic, but then you got to add in that what's the permaban for Navi? It's cash, right? So that's the best map for an IP. So basically you get each other's best maps out and you're going towards the middle of the pool.
I'm interested to see whether Navi decides to give the 3 vetoes to NiP or they're going to keep them, because we saw it yesterday in the game against Flipside. They actually decided to give the 3 vetoes to Flipside so they could pick the side.
Also, actually, Guardian on Twitter was saying in a comment to Lerp, is like he actually thinks that it's not necessarily so obvious that you pick to be Team A. Sometimes you want to be Team B. He said it was depending on the opponent and the map, so maybe they'll try it against NiP, against NiP. And also the key detail to quickly say is that obviously this time NiP can't just back to the 3 best maps now.
Right, because, I mean, Navi's map pool blue is just, is it kind of, hasn't taken too much of a hit with Nuke's introduction, losing Inferno? And
nah,
still
not
just the Cash
necessarily.
Insta?
Yeah, definitely. They're still showing very good, but we do have the bans coming in now. Navi getting rid of Cash.
Off the perma bans.
Yeah, and then we see Overpass getting removed there. So that's one of Navi's good ones, but we still have the possibility for something like Train to be thrown in there as well if it isn't banned up by NiP.
Yeah, it's more the question, will NiP ban Train or Cobble? Because in theory, NiP loves those 2 maps when it's Cash is out and they play it. So did they ban their own strong maps? I feel like in this scenario, the next ban for Navi has to get Nuke out themselves at some point in time. I feel like they're so good on all the other maps. I think, hey, maybe Navi decides to take Cobble out and just say, hey, we like Train enough, so we'll leave that in for you and gamble that you won't ban it. And so actually, yeah, NiP goes with, we got the Train ban from NiP there. So you'd have to figure for Navi, if I'm them, I probably just ban out Dust 2 here, and I say, you know what, let's go ahead and let's play Train or let's play on Overpass, because on Overpass, I think, Overpass, Mirage, yeah. So on Mirage, I think Navi would be heavily favoured. If it comes out with Cobble, I think that would be the fun game. That's the randomizer can really give us a great matchup there.
What are you thinking, Yanko?
I think that this is pretty obvious that Navi decided that they don't want to play Dust 2 against NiP, because generally speaking their 2 weak maps are Cash and Nuke, but they can play all of the other maps. So then going for this is not wanting to play Dust 2, and we see that it's Cobble in the end that's going to be the map, and NiP decides to go for T side. I feel that this is going to be, as Duncan pointed out, a pretty interesting side, because Navi historically very weak on the CT side, but are able to put amazing numbers on the T side.
It's definitely going to be day and night from the Dignitas 16-1 versus CLG to Navi NiP on Cobblestone. With all of that in mind, Blue, I'm going to start probing for predictions. What are you thinking?
I still think that Navi's going to be able to take this one. I feel like their performances are stronger and have been more consistent as of late, so I think they're going to be the smart bet here.
Okay, and how about you, Yanko?
I'm gonna go with Navi as well, but it's gonna be pretty dependent on Guardian's performance on the CT side. He's the guy leading the way on that side.
Expecting Navi to get to the Lanxess in just 2 best-of-1s. How about you, Duncan? Are you going to be joining the crew?
I'm going to take Navi, but I do think this is the close map. If it'd be Mirage, I would have heavily favoured Navi. On Cobblestone, I think it should be a close game, but I know Navi's T-side on this map. It reminds me of Train in that sense that it's like, don't worry about the CT side that they have, because they can always win this game on the T side.
That's kind of, so despite NiP starting on that T side, doesn't matter how it goes, we'll get to see.
Unless they literally win like 14-1, Navi can certainly win when they go off the T side themselves.
Let's have a look then. It is Navi versus NiP, the Ninjas versus Natus Vincere. Your casters for this one are Henry G and Sadakist.
Thank you so much, Alex. Yes, we are ready, and it is a big game in the context of the tournament because it does give us another gauge of exactly where 2 of the top-rated teams lie. It's a chance for legendary status to be resumed for both, retained for both.
Yep.
NiP this time, full lineup, better form still. I think after Malmo victory, they kind of stumbled off a little bit, but okay, went out early in ECS, but they put a lot of time in since then.
Well, we've seen it's Cobble coming out first, right? And that's a map these guys have played before. It's actually the Malmo finals that NiP came across Navi, and they beat them 16-14 on this map. The problem for me going forward is it seems like everyone's kind of cotton on to what NiP do, especially on these big maps where they've been very inventive with their strategies. Obviously, that B smokes from the outside of the middle, that's been very famed now. And we'll see how this goes down. It's going to be NiP starting on the T side here, of course, and then heading towards Long A. Just going to be Zeus there waiting for them, but they're going pretty quick here. Exist waiting on the other side of the map.
Yeah, Exist has Edward facing him from long as well, but again, as you say, the Bomb and the rest of the NiP players over toward A. Guardian and Zeus still inside of the site, but without any information early, they're already leading off toward B, so a chance for a fast strike from NiP. Zeus will have to get the information and call for the rotations fast when it does arrive. And there is smoke on Freiburg. That might be the indication if they throw that toward the door, toward the connector.
Yeah, right now they're just trying to gain real estate, slowly dissect this part of the map and see whether there is any CT presence right now. You can see Freiburg probably lining himself up for a smoke. He can throw that towards connector from this area. They're going to be going towards middle. Freiburg will stay there and line up his smoke right now. He'll do the smoke towards connector. His teammates will go up towards middle. And Exist, I thought he was going to go for the backstab from drop down, but it looks like he'll be joining his comrades here. Guardian going to be helping out Zeus, and he'll be getting some information to start. There goes the initial smoke.
And it is toward that connector position. Guardian Already beyond it is inside of the hut. Now it's a limited position. He won't have a lot of movement. They're getting closer to already bypassing, in fact, 3 as they work heavily toward this A site. Get right finding 2, and Guardian goes back in. He waited his time. He came out late. They weren't expecting his presence, and 2 headshots already. He's looking for a third. He gets tagged down. 6 HP finally will drop as Freiburg finds him post-plant. Now a 3 versus 2 and no kits on the Na'Vi side. Flamey has to work this together with Edward. He goes down. He did pick up a kit on the way up to the hut, but that's now dropped again, or rather, excuse me, to the balcony. That's dropped again a long way from Flamey. He's trying to head that direction to make this possible, but confronted by 3 who jump all around the corner at the same time and no chance at all.
Yeah, decent round there from NiP. We saw it building up. They got the long A control there, set themselves up towards middle. Freiburg does the nice smoke over the top, and they pounce as soon as they get the opportunity. Unfortunately for Na'Vi there, they're quite a passive hole. They couldn't really do too much about it. Weren't landing their headshots. Guardian does come in big from the connector. He does get 2, but it's too late at that point. The rotations are too difficult. We saw Get Right with that Glock burst fire. We talk about that burst fire not being very effective. That's one of the positions it seems to work very well indeed. Burst fire towards our balcony area, takes down the rotating players, and it's going to be 1-0 in favor of NiP. And I think the problem is Na'Vi, they're so good on the T side. They're famed for actually getting maybe about 5 rounds on the CD side. So NiP need every single round they can get here. They need to be getting the double figures ideally. There is a force buy from Na'Vi, and they are stacking towards long A for now, and that's exactly where NiP are going as well, but obviously have a huge advantage in terms of firepower.
Pitt's going to wrap around with Freiburg. SMGs try and build some cash. They haven't spotted Zeus yet, though. And as they go by, Seased will peek, take away the aggro. There's still a chance that he can make this work from the balcony, but he has to get to the roll angles. Finds 2 headshots. Exist and Pitt both fall. And fortunately, a Galil gets thrown up toward him, but he will go down as he drops, not expecting a third and final player in that position. It's Freiburg that pulls this back, but down a man and 3 HP. Zeus got completely overlooked, all on the peak from Seased. Get Right, the high HP player, has to pull this back. Gets the information from Seased, who tries to go around the corner and see if there's a gun. It puts him down to 43, but it gives the information the other direction. And with Freiburg just waiting for Get Right to find the probe, that becomes more problematic with the information relay. Not only that, a stack inside the site. 1 to peek, 1 to surprise. Seased already low on HP. He'll take the honors of going out first to get the information. Tagged down this time to 17. Gets burned alive in the end. But still, they have to find Edward and Guardian, and the Flames don't reach Edward, so he can still sit in this position behind the hut on the site.
Good news is, though, NiP still have the rifles. Na'Vi have not been able to pick up a single thing here, so they're both on pistols here. Freiburg very low indeed, but he's going towards connector, and looks like he actually be going straight onto the side as well. First kill should be coming in his favor.
Oh!
Okay.
Overlooks it, a panic. Gets a little nervous. Not even looking at him. Edward's able to turn it around again. The low HP haunts him. It's Get Right to find both. Bomb dropped in the site. 12 seconds. They know this Na'Vi. They're trying to play all the time. They're forcing Get Right to run around, and he's going to go down. 8 seconds left, and Edward will clutch it.
I have to say it's a disappointing round from NiP. The fact that rushing towards long A, they had such tunnel vision after they saw one player. Everyone's trying to stick together, trying to keep that mentality of fragging and refragging, making sure no one's dying alone. But the idea is on the anti-eco rounds, you've got so much time to play with there. Most teams will go into that full default at the start, spread out across the map, see what's going on, and then if you're going to go towards long A, you need to be using your flashbangs and your Molotovs, clearing out every single area, making sure if anyone does die, there's an instant refrag there. Zeus, like you said, overlooked. That was a massive misplay from NiP.
And this is significant as well, because we often talk about Na'Vi being good on the map overall, but very poor on their CT sides.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon that they get only 5 rounds CT and still make a contest of this game. So picking up rounds early, taking an economic advantage, this becomes a very, very considerable weight in this game, because NiP have to play almost a perfect half now.
Yeah, it's Guardian that does most of the work on the CT side. He'll get the AWP, obviously, and he'll be very dynamic, moving around the map, and he's hitting every single shot. He's believe it or not, he's probably good for them to get 5 rounds. It's where his other teammates come alive on the T side here. But let's have a look at this one. It's going to be round number 3. We have got the Tech 9s, Desert Eagles. A little bit of utility available for NiP. This is the force buy. They've got a smoke and a flashbang looking to go towards drop down here. But it's quite a passive hold from Na'Vi. Siege, you would see, waiting on the other side there. Just going to be getting the first kill and falling back. That's his idea right now.
Edward and Flamey on B, both on the stairwell. Interestingly enough, utilizing that position quite heavily early on. No utility in the in the form of a Molotov to try and distill them, but an overcommitment from Edward will drop him down. They don't know if he's there because he drops the gun forward, so they easily get the information that he's going to try and repeat with that AK. And when he does the second time, it's more crucial, and payments come in at large because he finds 3 quick kills. Get Right's going to take down Guardian, but that's the only kill for NiP in that sense.
That's one of the big advantages of our new steps area for the CTs. It was very difficult to hold off those those force buy situations with the Tech 9s. A couple of smokes and flashbangs, it was still hard to hold, but without the Molotovs available for the terrorists there, you can see how beneficial that position can be and how powerful when you have the advantage of the rifle in your hand as well. Flamey, great shots, takes them all down. Looked a little bit hairy at one point, but he neutralizes it, and it's going to be a full eco here for NiP. Won't be investing a single thing. I don't think they have a P250. It's going to be 5 Glocks, no utility. So at this point, it's a chance for Navi to keep 5 players alive, farm some cash. You can see Guardian, he's on that MP9. And he'll be looking to get the AWP next round, presumably. If he can get a few kills here, that'd be great. They're going to be sending 5 players towards long A for now, and Guardian, he's pushed towards middle. So he might be calling us a B-side, but he's got a sense of maybe going towards that area himself.
Well, Zeus is aware of it as well. They've completely trapped him in, but they are committing. They want to just get a bomb down. They want to go fast on this A site. Get Right's able to trade against C's, but it's Zeus, top of the ramp. Takes 2 back, one of which at the end of stables, and there's Guardian finally wrapping in behind them. Gets the final kill with the SMG. Upgrades to a FAMAS for free, so they keep another rifle. But more importantly, that SMG kill, just building up the bank early for Guardian, so a chance for him to bring out an AWP a little bit sooner when the time comes.
I don't think it'll be this round because obviously...
They dropped it.
Oh, they actually gone for it? I was going to say, the fact that NiP forcing the previous is very unlikely to have an AWP themselves, but I guess that's all the reason to him to start capitalizing, getting in the swing of things. It's going to be an open Guardian. We'll see what kind of spawn he's got. He's actually towards the back right now. And he'll be throwing a smoke towards B, so that's kind of indicates he'll be staying towards A. He likes to play that passive position towards the top and middle. Going for that first bit of information as they cross through the door.
And C's actually dropped that over so he wouldn't have to go glass cannon. So they maximize the economy in that sense. Guardian against these AKs will have full utility. Still has 4150, I believe, left over as well to go into the next round. So a good situation. 3850 to be exact. As Zeus on the A site, slowly getting pushed back by some utility. Some smokes at the bottom of the middle, and now at the A long corner. Get Right, the only one over toward B, is going to try and hold them as the bomb drop way back toward the staircase in the B tunnels, just in case they do find an entry kill on either side. A pick game right now being played by NiP.
Well, right now they have got control of middle and danger. You can see Freiberg, he'll be staying posted in that position. It gives him lurk potential. They do go back towards B. He can come for the backstab from long A potentially as well. You can see his teammates setting up. They have got 2 smokes remaining, a couple of flashbangs. It's not ideal, but it's possible. They can get right towards that upper platform position, see if he can work a pick. That would be great. He's actually going to be looking towards drop down for now, but they still have 50 seconds. Freiberg, he's going to be instrumental in this round. If he can time this very nicely, then he's got a real chance of taking down these rotating players.
He's through that danger position, but the action right now is on drop. And that's where Flamey finds one. Freiberg will call this back a little bit. And that leaves Guardian still on this A side. He can't rotate early. He's able to find him at drop room. We didn't see that off camera, but a good lurk kill now from Exist because it opened up so much space. And inside the smoke, has to reload, but thankfully Pit is there to close out the kill. And Forrest gets the information for exactly where Flamey is, gets the trade, and NiP pick up their second round.
Yeah, pretty textbook stuff there from NiP, getting the long control, and we saw that a lot from Dignitas. That's something they're very good at. Once you get that long control, it sets you up to actually have one player posted on that side of the map, listening for rotations, giving good, cool information for your teammates, and like Freiberg did, he finds one kill. That's enough to get them questioning themselves and working out whether that is a fake or whether he's actually the one lurking. So that worked out nicely indeed. They go out towards upper platform. Get Right drops and drop down, but that was fine. They managed to frag, and Guardian wasn't really coming to life with that AWP at all, but he does have enough to purchase it this round. They are struggling a little bit. It was C's to drop the weapon before, so he's just on the MP9, but Cobble's one of those maps, and every weapon's almost viable, and there's so many close range angles, so many tight corners you can hold. Guardian this time was working towards the broken wall area, does reposition himself towards those new steps, trying to get a little gap here through the smoke, which he has got. See if he can find Exist.
It's got all the way to the box in vision. Flash out though for Exist to peek and now start to advance slightly. So Guardian can't quite peek that same angle over to the left, at least not comfortably. Checks for the boost. 2 players at drop. Get Right. And Freiberg, it sees that's going to watch them. Get Right's actually committed to this now, all the way down. No one at the window, so they can't pinch them in here. And Get Right actually has a chance to wrap through connector if he'd elect to do so, because Edward and Zeus are still well and truly over toward the bottom of the A ramp. But they're slowing this. Still NiP.
Very patient. They know someone's going to be coming to check drop down at some point, but hit with the flash from Get Right, gets the kill on upper platform as well. See all the play for.
And he gets dropped as well. Get Right gets a little bit of help from his teammate on that one, but Forrest is going to take Flamey. It's all going to plan so far for NiP until the nade detonates on the face of Freiberg. It pulls them back to just a 2-man deficit. Kit only on Edward though. And as the money's been stripped away, having lost the previous round, there's a chance that Na'Vi, well, they'll just sit back and save the guns going forward. They're going to set up for exit kills, one on either side of the site. Edward to watch B tunnels, and Zeus in case they go out connector, and Edward does find Pith. So just taking some guns away from NiP. It will pay off slightly here because even though it's just a round lost and 2 in a row now for NiP, they haven't built a bank out of this.
Pretty horrible setup, I have to say, from Navi there. We saw Seas, he was limited with that MP9, so he's playing a very passive tight angle around that corner, but the problem is Guardian, he's exposed from a platform. He's getting no information. That's a miscommunication thing, I'm not so sure, but he shouldn't be dying with his teammate watching that position. That shouldn't be a possibility. That's a real big blunder for them, and Guardian, once again, can't find a single frag of that orb. That's going to break the economy of Navi now for sure. NiP, strong round, they pick up an orb themselves. Of course, I'll be going in the hands of Forest. It's kind of interesting the way they do it right now. It's Pitts, who seems to be taking more of the CT side orping, and Forest going for the more aggressive stuff. Navi do save an AK-47, that's in the hands of Edward. He's got utility to play with as well, but his teammates can't really justify joining him. He'll have an incendiary smoke, and it's up to him to try and maybe get that first kill. He goes toward danger by himself, and his teammates stack towards B. It looks like it's the exact opposite. It'll be Edward going to B by himself, and his teammates going towards long A. So let's see if we can do anything with this.
Nick just already around the corner again, smoke out.
This is how you should be playing the anti-K situations. You know, you've broken their money before. We saw them in that second round forcing all in towards long A before default really coming to fruition. This time they're much slower, making sure they take out some real tight angles, not allowing Navi to get anything with this. They know they've got an AK-47 held, stick together in tight groups. Pitt's alone, but he's being covered by Forrest as well. He's just getting some information here towards long A.
And his Guardian round the corner that will wait in by the wall. Slightly off angle so that it's hoping not to be checked. He can surprise them. Remember, the 1 AK is in the hands of Edward. Right now, that's alone on B. And they are approaching drop. Again, it's Get Right and Freiberg to work together in this position. Clearing off the window. Get Right again, the first to drop in. Freiberg holds the angle and lets him go to work. Last time he found 2 in this position on a gun round, this time against pistols. Range game heavily favoring him. Good chance for a repeat. Not quite the same positioning, obviously, though, for Na'Vi. No one up close in the arch room. Instead, it's out towards Statue, and this AK wants to try and find counter entries on this pick, but a good Molotov from Forrest. Does it go far enough? Just leaves him at the bottom of the stairs. Dodges the flash. So has vision. He does find the first. That's bombed down, but it's traded. And a good trade on entry. That's all they need in that situation. But watch the pistols. They've taken 2 down. Seas will drop. Zeus has an AK. Doesn't matter. Forrest finds the kill.
Yeah, we talk about that Molotov being so powerful. It does lock down that new steps position, but you can see Edward trying to make it seem like a little bit of a ruse. It's going to be hiding on the edge of the flames. Doesn't really do too much with it. But the pistols, they find 3 kills, but that's all they'll get. We go into round number 8. The money is starting to stabilize here for Navi, but I don't think they're going to get the orb just yet. Edward can definitely drop one. I think that's the conversation they're having right now. Is this actually worthwhile? Do we want to drop the orb? It hasn't been too effective as of yet. And actually going for 5 rifles here. So Guardian, he does have the M4 head armor, no nades as well. And to be fair, his orb has had little to no impact whatsoever. I don't think he's found a kill with it. So try and have the crossfires, just try to play more as a team instead of Guardian trying to get the picks down every time. So I think this is probably the wise idea. The crossfires haven't been great. Like I said, a lot of exposed positions. The synergy's not really there on the B bomb site. And this time it's going to be Pitt once again by himself towards long A. Flashbangs go over, and let's see if he can find his first pick.
Pitt, though.
3 players.
Exactly. Has 3 to face. Flamey, Zeus, Guardian, all there, and they're trying to bait him in, but he's not buying it. Freiberg, Forrest, Get Right exists all over toward B. This time not as much commitment. Now Get Right looking like he may drop over again. Same setup. Freiberg to hold the angles. Seized is up close. That smoke will delay them because they haven't seen this yet. This is something new. Still Get Right goes down, tries to go for the swing. I think his mouse actually hit his keyboard there.
Fortunately, though, that smoke is fine for delaying them, but it still gives him full control of his area. This is what Get Right wants. This is his bread and butter. You give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. So they're trying to reposition themselves now. The CTs are rotating. That's bought them some time, but now they've got to hold off the full B attack, which potentially is coming in.
Second smoke coming through. Pop flash. Get Right's going to push right through. This timing is such that he needs to work to create an opening for his players coming in at long B. This has already made it to the statue as well. Gets the first one on Edward. That should be Get Right's chance. He's still trying to pick through this smoke. He's he didn't see it. Behind the statue, he's overlooked him. Thankfully, Freiberg's going to find Seized, but Pitt gets Guardian, and that all turns the round. It's all onto the flank for Zeus. Spots up the shoulder of one on Pitt. Real chance for Na'Vi to try to pull this back. And it's come to a 2 versus 1. Bomb will be planted safely as they have the information, and Freiberg follows up. So Get Right not able to find the opening. Freiberg immediately does. Second man in.
Yeah, you saw that they've been so scared of that drop-down position. It's been such a problem for them. We see them trying to adjust themselves. They've got the crossfires, the M4. It's a more promising round. They're delaying NiP slightly, but the problem is, as soon as they do that, It's Exist coming out towards the upper platform. He takes all the aggro away. Great opportunity for GOTV to get out, drop down once again, and they get mowed down. They haven't really got enough to work with here. The money's not stabilizing. They haven't got the incendiaries once the execution actually comes in, and once again they've been broken. Like we say though, this is fine, pretty par for the course so far. Navi definitely not famed for their CT side of Cobble. If they can get 5 rounds, it's definitely enough to work with here. That's good news so far for NiP. It's going to be a full eco for Navi. This will be another slow default. They'll be controlling the economy at this point. Some Deagles, 5-7s. Zeus has got head armor, which is a really weird call. I guess he's kind of anticipating maybe one reconnaissance player, maybe a Mac 10 going up against him. They'll protect him. I don't think that extra $350 is worth the investment at this point, considering you're stretched so thin.
Good shot from Freiburg. They know 2, they know 3 is there actually. Exist has only spotted 2, but Freiburg on the other angle will have seen the rest. He's gone low himself, 23 HP. But it's not a big deal. Fall back and let his teammates go in and do the rest. Got right, going to take down Guardian. Still a stack up on this B site.
Yeah, this is... At this point, NiP don't need to react. They've got plenty of time, 1 minute on the clock. They found 2 kills already. They have the utility available. Let's see if the CTs are going to be pushing from the other side of the map. There are any flanks coming in. We can still hear there are players towards B. Group together, use flashbangs, more to the steps. Pretty standard so far. This is round over this point.
No man's land and flash. And manages to find one in it. Surprisingly takes down GOTV, but Forrest is there to answer it. And 1 versus 4. Zeus falls. 6-3 for NiP. 12 kills for GOTV. I mean, we're seeing it firsthand into the drop room every time he's finding 1 or 2.
This has always been a massive problem for Navi. They've never been able to tame the drop down room at all. They've tried different players in that position. It seems to be a huge problem every single game we see them on this map. So let's see how they address it. They're going to be going for the double orb setup. I was saying in the green room before this, when we were watching the previous game actually, I feel like the double orb setup on Cobble, it's probably the weakest map for it. Every other map it's viable, sure, on the CT side. The problem is once the terrorists work out you have that double orb setup, they start doing the full wall of smoke executions. Then you're completely locked out of rotations. Your orbit doesn't have as much freedom. And it relies a lot on aggression here. And you see Guardian going for those initial kills, but once again, not getting anything. He's currently on 5 for 7. I don't think any of those are orb kills so far.
Sees this time with the AWP as well. Is going to try and get up toward B long. Makes his way into the arch. They are going to peek him. GOTV finds it again. Another opening. Exist takes the aggro. Snap doesn't work. The flick shot misses, and GOTV's there to hit the headshot from range. So an excellent game so far for GTR.
Yeah, too easy, if anything. He can't do that every single round. There needs to be a response. Why are they not sending 2 people there? Start challenging him. It's seized every time, either too passive or facing by himself. Need to look at their setups.
Flamey this time is going to be the one to play up close to drop. Edward coming over to help him. Plays behind the tree position, so no one out at platform directly. GOTV has dropped down again onto the pallet, tries to cover his noise. Flash goes in, another entrance. Easily done. Flamey can do nothing of it. They're forced to leave Edward there alone. He falls back inside the site. He's got to play from rock position, trying to utilize the smokes dropped in front of him and let Zeus try and find a way to take down GOTV. But he's late through the door. GOTV this time's changing it again. He's waiting at the window to catch the rotations off. Forrest will find one on the way through. GOTV jumps out. Right in front of him, it's Guardian. And even though he found 2 kills to make things interesting, he had no room to walk. Oh, it was a team kill.
It looked quite cool, yeah.
What did James say when that happened last time?
I don't think it's safe for the airways.
Fair enough.
I don't think you could pull it off either. So.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, it's 7-3, and Navi, once again, it's a drop-down room. It's not like you and NiP are doing splits right now, and I was about to say, we need a pause to come in. It's coming from Navi right now. Let's address this situation. What are we going to do to counter this? You either leave drop-down fully open, you play one towards connector watching the window, and you have someone on the rock watching people come out. At that point, though, you need to synergize. You need to be synergizing on the bomb side. No one can be on the upper platform area because they're exposed. This is a massive problem for Navi. This is a veteran team. They should know these basic errors are coming in and should be able to adapt pretty easily. Obviously, it's very easy to point out from our point of view, but it's still black and white from what I can see. But 7-3, the money isn't a great situation whatsoever. They're going to be on maybe 3.1k average. I think it's going to be Desert Eagles once again. You can see them discussing. At this point, it's just they're probably getting a little bit angry. They've been known to be quite an emotional team. Obviously, like players like Zeus, when he was the in-game leader, it was famed for being very angry, very passionate when they were losing these sort of situations. You don't have to sit in the pause time actually going nuts at each other.
Yeah, they are definitely a volatile team in that sense. They have calmed that down considerably over the last few months, I will say.
Starrex taking over as in-game leader, I think that helped a lot. He took off a lot of the pressure from Zeus and concentrated on his game. And I think they even said they don't really do long boot camps anymore because they find themselves arguing too much. Because they, like you said, when things go wrong and things aren't necessarily going their way, that's when they really do fall apart as a team. But this is a good time to take a pause. We saw on the first day, actually, a lot of teams not even using the pause throughout the game. They have time to recalibrate themselves right now. But if I'm NiP, if I'm Threat, I'm I'm thinking, right, what are they going to do to adjust to what I'm doing? Am I just going to throw a spanner in the works, just do a fast A take through middle as they're trying to adjust as we keep going B every single time? And this round, I don't think is going to mean too much. I think Navi are just taking a break themselves to cool off. They haven't got the money to really invest into this one. It will just be the Desert Eagles and 4 USPs, but it looks things so far. Not much talking going on. I guess it's a Star kind of explaining how he sees the setups going down.
Zeus sits 7 and 8 top Na'Vi, but Get Right leads overall 15 and 8.
It's just been the Get Right show. As soon as he gets, why is he getting dropped down uncontested almost every single time? Simple flashbangs and he gets the kill, and then at that point they don't need to react. He waits for his teammates to get towards upper platform.
You say give it up completely, but in some senses they have been playing it quite passively. Why not double it up or put someone aggressively below it?
I think that the problem is that like they're worried it can come from both sides, right? So they haven't got someone to connect to watching window. They've just got C's kind of. He's on the steps. He's on the precipice. He's not actually playing by the rock. He's trying to listen out for footsteps. He's trying to get flashed in by his teammates, and he's getting wrecked every single time. So I think that an adjustment in the setup's all they need. A lot of teams will just play one window, one by the rock, and then you have the AWP at the back of B. That's for me. It's going to be working out. If you can get Guardian at the back, and we'll see what happens there. But here we go then. Round number 11. They have got Desert Eagles and a couple of sets of body armor and C's and Zeus. But NiP, once again, play the full default, see what's being presented to you. A little bit of aggression, but it's actually Zeus coming out on top. Lovely shot by him.
First time they've gone aggressive, so change of pace. Pays off for at least one kill. There's a gun available in that position. Forrest is watching it, though, so it's not easily attained. Get Right waiting again. So this is the interesting thing. Freiburg's checking window. Get Right this time knows there's a Molotov down there. Goes on to pallet again. Try and mask the noise, get in faster. Smoke goes out on the right side. This time Get Right. And one thing I was going to say, did check directly below the drop. Sometimes he's been going in without checking that, without considering that position. So it would be tradable by Freiburg, but it's something that they haven't done to counter. This time, they'll watch what we just saw inside of that smoke. Someone already on the windowsill and sees, but he's not going to go through that way. He pushes the door as well. A chance for the backstab. The flash comes in. He gets one only, and Freiburg's there. So if you get Right, that's fine. But they've got a backup plan. And at the very least, they're going to get 2 kills every single time from drop.
This is where things get interesting now. We have money coming back into the good. It's going to be Guardian on the AWP. Let's see how they adjust his setup towards the B site. This has been a massive problem. Like I said, Brett, he knows they're taking that pause. He knows they're adjusting. They're probably going to play 4 towards B. They know it's been such a huge problem for them. I'd be calling right now, let's just go fast A. Let's just go for a Hail Mary play straight through the mid doors. Let's get up the middle as fast as we can. That'd be a really nice way to kind of mix things up just as they're adjusting as well. And there it is, the 4 players from the CD straight towards B. I think it will be Zeus by himself towards mid.
Yeah, interesting position for him. Get Guardian, therefore, with an AWP as part of the 4-man stack inside of the B site. I say stack, but fairly common you'll do this. Get Right's down again. He's through already. They're trying to double up the arch side. This time gets caught off in his tracks. That was clever. A change up and a change of pace from Get Right. But it doesn't work out. Tries to lurk in behind.
Yeah, you can see they've got 2 players focused on drop down now. Guardian is towards that back of the B site. So now they've got the man advantage. Let's convert this into a round victory. They can sit back a little bit more. Guardian, without any Molotov in that steps area, definitely go for a face. Flashes over as well, hunting for intel here. There's a player boosted up. That's exists for now. Can he find him?
Guardian, AWP down toward long. They have to convert. This does take exist. Remember, 5 rounds tends to be the threshold for Na'Vi. Obviously, they'll take as many as they can get, but there's still a game well and truly on the cards if they can just pick up a few more rounds in this half.
What's important now is Na'Vi need to keep as many players as they can around. There's definite reset potential here, and it's looking good so far. 5 on 2. Blaney takes down Freiburg. Forrest and Pit remaining. They've got a ton of cash here. They just want to dent the economy. They know they can't win the round, but they can find 2 or 3 kills. That'd be amazing. Pretty unlikely. Let's see what they can do.
Flamey flash, but those pits there in the long hallway. Catches him before he can redraw the gun. Having thrown the Molotov toward the stairwell, and like you say, everyone's still alive. So Forrest, if he could just pick guns apart, it's worth committing to this. They've won enough rounds in a row. They've easily got a buy in hand. Yeah. So he's going to try and find as many as he can. There's the first. C's goes down. Second one directly to his left. He doesn't know it yet. Zeus is there, and thankfully will hit the shot. So Forrest stay up. Not a bad situation.
Yeah, every kill he got then, it hurt them a lot. So even just finding one, that's enough. It's worth giving away the AWP. I don't think that's a big deal. We're coming to the final stages of this first half. They've got a ton of cash. You can see Forrest. He's got 10k. We'll be going for the AWP himself.
The question now is, does NiP, having been slowed down at that drop, having that double pressure, now obviously Get Right changed it up a little bit that time, but do they just try and hit A? Have they put Na'Vi into this position where they're now thinking, okay, we've got drop control, let's hold B, and then NiP just switch it up and go, let's go A?
What's interesting as well, we haven't seen NiP do that famous wall of smokes from the outside of middle. They were doing that so much when they first brought threat in. Maybe they feel like that's been adapted to. Like, a lot of teams know what they're doing. They can read it quite easily. They're playing just good basic CS right now, getting map control, getting Get Right into good positions. He's fighting the frags, so why change anything at this point? We're going to see Guardian once again aggressive towards the upper platform. It's going to be Forrest and misses the first shot, but exists in his standard position right now. Knows Guardian will be waiting for him.
And to be fair, that's one of the most notable changes with the new NiP, with Threat on board, is Get Right's entry potential. Taking over that role consistently. Guardian not able to hit the shot on his second approach. In fact, gets legged up through the box, down to 16 HP. Legged up, take your pick, but it sees instead to take Get Right. This time winning drop. Finally, they win that battle, and Flamey takes Freiburg. This is where NiP have to consider changing it up slightly. Forrest, he'll pull one back. Still not done just yet, but Flamey changes the angle, and the headshot successful brings it to a 4 versus 2. NiP down again by a considerable margin, and Flamey just sits there. They overcommit to drop this time, and he's picked them all apart. Another one potentially presenting itself. There it is. Flamey actually gets the gun back in time. I thought the flash might cost him, but it's 4 up. They avoid the reset, and NiP, what's the change of pace going to be?
Yeah, one of their star players now making the changes and saying, you know what, Seas, you do need help in this drop area. Let's face it together. Instead of letting Get Right have this low potential of getting in there and just doing what the hell he wants, we're going to start challenging them. We'll start using the incendiaries when we feel like they're coming. They're challenging. They're getting 4 kills there. Flamey gets 1, and Seas gets the other. Sorry, Flamey gets 4, Seas gets the other, and it's a very beautiful round in that sense. So they've got the 5 rounds. That's the magic number we set for that going into this one. And you can see NiP don't want to give anything away. They will be force buying into this one. It's the strongest buy. You can see Freiburg, he's going to be on the Galil. No war potential here, but this is a chance for them to potentially do a set piece. You can see there, here we go. This is what we're looking for. These set smokes. We know them so well. We've seen them in so many tournaments. It was very creative and innovative when we first saw it, but like I said, a lot of teams know what these means now.
Well, they've got them lined up, but they're committing still onto this B site. Get Right found by Guardian, who gets through the smoke. He's got a chance to go for more, but he's going to set more conservatively as the angle held. Bombs dropped on the site. They have to commit Get Right. Already down. Forrest manages to pull back one. Freiburg the other. Suddenly they turn it around. I was going to say Forrest goes down to 1 HP. Trade potential was on the cards, but it's Edward. Suddenly 1 versus 3. And watch to his left, because Exist may still be inside of the site, but Freiburg was looming large and trying to find Edward on a secondary angle. He's considered it, but he's still found as Freiburg will close the round.
Yes, they didn't have the AWP there, didn't have as much pick potential there, and they know the drop-down's been a little bit of an issue. They go for that wall of smoke tab. They're trying to eliminate Guardian in that sense, take him out of the equation. He gets caught on the wrong side of the smoke, so it's difficult to get back through. He gets a couple of kills, but the good trade frag coming in from NiP there, sticking as a unit, 3 versus 1 in the end, and that's a big round for them to pick up. You can see Navi, even after winning 2 rounds, they're still struggling. They've got the AWP Guardian, sure, but they have 2 Pharmacy, they have no kits, they have only 2 smokes remaining, no incendiaries. This is a very weak buy. You cobble, it's very important to have the utility available, so just hold off the terrorists for a long amount of time. And right now it looks like NiP maybe just going straight in for a B rush here. All 5 players committed to this side of the map, taking control of this money situation.
Flash through from Exist. Going on this aggressively. Drop this time. Get Right alone, so not the trade potential. More emphasis on just getting into the site with force. Get Right's falling at the window, so a good chance against from Navi because they're limited to the platform. Trades are even, but the rotations, they've already arrived from Navi. As Guardian again, low HP, but has the AWP. He'll only take 1 shot. He walks into the flames. It was already burning. He didn't realize. He walks over, goes down. Thankfully, Zeus pulls that back, but that's huge because now they've got more of an opening, more of an access point. No smokes left, just 1 flash. They can't cover themselves into the site to go for the fast plant. Instead, a flash out to try and get a secondary peek. And Seized is going to fall back toward Connector, get away from that tight rock position. Exist thinks he's being clever here, but this smoke could cost him dearly. Trying to find the gap in it. Zeus, he's going to throw himself away on sound. Trade goes in, but it's 8 HP. They have to peek each other, and Seized up close is going to make it a 9-6 half in favor of NiP, the last round going to Navi.
Yeah, like I said, trying to read the money game there. They thought Navi might be low, and that was actually the right call, but it was a full B stack at that point. So getting locked down, Guardian stepped up in that round, and it's going to be 9-6. More than we expected, but a decent half.
And 6 rounds again. That's where Navi, I mean, that's +1 on where we normally see them on Cobblestone. So a pistol could bring this back very quickly, and their T side will go to work. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll see if NiP can close this or if we've got a game on our hands. A look back at some of the first rounds in this game. It really was all about get right at the drop to start things off. Navi did respond to it late to get themselves up to at least 6 rounds, something to work with. But it wasn't all easy, as Guardian shows us, taking the head off of Zeus in the process.
Yeah, the problem there is Navi gave Get Right way too much respect. It was too little too late towards the end. They do get the 6 rounds, but you feel like it could have got a lot more of an early adjustment there. It was pretty standard from the NiP once again, straight towards drop down every single time, of taking control of the situation and capitalizing on the teamwork.
Interesting note, though, as we did say, in the early rounds, it was all about get right. He finished the half with 15. Interestingly enough, when Navi took the timeout, he had 15. So they did literally count him with that timeout.
That's what they wanted to do, and that's, for me, that's when NiP could have been a little bit more dynamic. They actually tried a few more set pieces towards the B side. That worked out for them as well, but I'd like to see them more focused on the A side, something a bit faster, just to kind of discombobulate Navi a little bit and keep them confused. But we'll go into the second half. It is BB96 and Navi on the T side, of course. They've gone for 4 sets of armor. Guardian with the smoke and flashbang, and it's a pretty standard affair for NiP. 4 sets of armor for them, and a kit and an HE on Freiburg. So it's looking like, though, Navi want to go fast towards A. All 5 players go straight out to the mid-round, but Forest has spotted them.
And that's going to put an awkward position into Forrest, though, as he falls back. But look at this crossfire setup. Freiburg finds one. Guess what? All the aggro goes to the right. Get right. Still on the left. Blade Peak doesn't find a kill from it. Has to be a little bit careful. The Seas doesn't hit a headshot. Tried for the burst. Back to the single. It exists to get closer. And Get right. He may not even find a kill in this, but just his distraction. Okay, he does in the end. Doesn't matter. It was enough. Not only that, flank coming around. It was a well-played pistol round from NiP.
That's very clever, actually. Did you see how that already panned out for them? You can see Forrest, he was spotting from danger towards middle. He wanted to be the bait. He wanted them to go, wow, there's going to be 1 player here, but it's probably 4 towards B. He'll be there towards danger by himself. Let's rush up middle and isolate him. Really nice setup from NiP. So that nice little crossfire. We can get right in Freiburg. It's actually Freiburg stepping out. He didn't even need the crossfire. He hit 2 headshots, locked it down. Forrest comes in with the final couple of kills. Lovely, lovely stuff there. And it's going to be NiP taking things to double digits, winning the pistol. And it is a force buy, of course, from Navi. If you don't get the bomb down, you don't get the extra $800. You don't have the opportunity to get AKs in the third. So pistols here, Tech 9, PD50, a couple of flashbangs. It's going to be difficult to get any map control here. You see him trying to stick his unit towards long A.
Guardian takes back Forrest, 1-for-1 trade, but still something to work with potentially for Navi. More importantly, picking up the weapon. They'll give that to Edward. So Famas in his hands. A smoke as well, just 1 to work with for this terrorist side as Get Right goes back out to try and figure out exactly where they've gone, Navi, if they've left the A site altogether, or if they're still hiding somewhere. He needs to be careful because he gets caught out. Very aggressive, no trade potential for Freiburg. He's tagged up as well. Another gun to be picked up, a UMP to work with. And Freiburg on 18, they've lost another man in the hands of Flamey. It's Exist that goes down. It's another eco situation. Pith has to clutch this back, 1 versus 2. As he does get the first kill into Flamey. It's just Guardian and Edward left in his way, but bomb's been planted. Guardian in behind the pillar at the top of the half wall, top of the ramp. Gets the first damage into Pith, down to 39. Does have a kid to work with, so he'll buy himself some space. Smoke's going to allow Edward to get back over towards Stables. They can play a 2-man setup and peek together. Does he catch him running away? Not quite. Does take Guardian in the end, but 3 HP over to the UMP, and he can't get it done. Edward re-peeks it out. And NiP, again, a little bit careless in their positioning.
Yeah, once again, that's our second round thrown away. They're taking the fight towards the terrorists. They're challenging. Get Right, there's no real reason for him to be pushing him by himself towards long A. He's got no intel there. He's trying to get the backstabs in and trying to finish the round before it really gets towards the bomb sites. For me, that was a bit of a misplay. And we saw this a lot at the previous tournament, at ECS especially. That's when Get Right was finding himself in positions where potentially gets a little bit too confident, not playing with his teammates. He's just trying to make things happen by himself. And if he gets caught and there's no refrag coming in there, that gets a huge advantage. Your gun gets given away. And at that point, you're giving Navi a window. And now they've taken it. It's going to be round number 18 here. They've got the AKs and the SMGs. NiP not forcing into this one, but they have got upgraded pistols. This is going to be the anti-eco from Navi. This is what I expected from NiP in that second round we saw in the first half. You know you're up against full eco. Use your flashbangs, use the molotovs, go together, and just face the angles and push the CTs back. Nothing has to do, even if you see one, they don't chase him around and not check corners. That was very big misplay.
Well, look at the difference from Navi. The Molotovs used in every off angle possible out toward long A. Just take the chance that no one's going to be there to surprise you with the pistols, and they work this together. Easily take down all 5 of the NiP players. 5 stay alive as well, so they can build up their economy. Guardian 2 kills on an AK. NiP not left with much cash here. Could try and buy out some pistols, level their money. But Guardian is building toward his AWP. We'll see if they try and save for that reason alone.
I think, yeah, NiP need the utility in the first gun round. We speculated before, it's Pitt that's going to be AWP on the CT side here. I'm not sure they'll do that in the first round. I think they'll probably just stick on the crossfires, use the 5 rifles, and bring the AWP out when they need it. Right now, full eco. You can see USPs, P2000, 1 flashbang. That suggests they'll just go to, well, long A right now, holding a little crossfire. As soon as they get some sort of confrontation, use that flash and try and run around the corner together.
Seized directly into the site with Mac-10. Only one in B, probing it, calling that it's clear. But Exist is actually behind him in the smoke. Takes the shot. Now that's interesting because Seized, or rather, excuse me, if Exist had let Seized go all the way, they would have been walking back toward him with the bomb. Yes, it's a 1-on-4, not likely he's going to do much, but he could have at least taken a few players down, tried to surprise them slightly. Goes for the backstab on Seized, doesn't work out.
The fact he's walking, he thinks, I've got a chance. If I double dink him, that's a kill. But at that range, the USP, it's very difficult even in that situation. It does considerable damage, takes him on the 17, but that's not enough. The signal has been given that is the B side open, so that'll stack NiP had towards A. That's redundant now. They haven't really got anything to work with, nothing to save. So they might as well go for it, see if they can pick up a gun. But Edward, he's on top of this. He'll be locking them down.
Gets one, but only one. Get right pulls that back, so an AK to be grabbed right now for NiP. You mentioned the utility needed in the first round. Well, this will help because that's a considerable amount of money they won't have to spend on an M4.
Indeed. So get right, that's his objective right now. And Forrest, if he can pick up a weapon as well, that's great. So he manages to get a kill. Looking to get more as well. He takes down Zeus, so 2-on-2. But at this point, the other two are pretty far removed from this situation, so they will be saving his weapons. We have got Seized, actually. He's coming in from the tower. This could be deadly.
Could be deadly, but only has a Mac-10 and a CZ 75. He needs to make these shots perfect. Does take Forrest down to considerable HP. Sprays away, Mac-10 kill.
Okay.
I'll take it. Smart, actually, considering he just needs to get another bullet into it. That's going to leave the AK into door. Get right. 7 HP, just spraying to hold that off. Needs to be careful not to back up too far and let Seize spot him, but he does manage to save at least one gun.
So obviously the Mac-10 is viable at that range when you have unarmored opponents. So it's not like the craziest decision in the world to go for that one, so that was fine. And it's going to be 10-9 now, and we do have a full buy. Interesting though, they have gone for the AWP on the first round. It's going to be Pitt wielding their weapon. Did save the AK-47. I said utility, very important in this map. That definitely helps boost the economy for NiP going forward. You can see Getray has residual cash. There's almost $3,000 left over. Seized, bit of a bonus round coming in. Guardian has got the AWP, sure, but Seized wants to be getting these situations first. Nice and fast towards middle. We can jump on him. We'll see what he's about to do. Probably push through the smoke with the Mac-10. 4 men towards B for NiP, but this is an A play from Navi.
So 10-9. Navi within one of NiP.
This is reconnaissance play right now. Send him in first. If he drops, it's fine. You get to back him up and get the refrag in. A little bit of miscommunication there, but it's fine. They have got control of middle now, taking the vision away from the CTs with that smoke.
Freiburg's going to try and take advantage of the smoke as well to get down lower on the left side. Seized. It's another crossfire set up for NiP, but a good trade. Managing to get the first kill, they follow it up, and it's 3 kills now to the 1. That NiP have grabbed. As Edward takes Exist, it's down to Pitt. That AWP, well, never mind. It's going to run away and try and be saved. And they aren't planting the bomb just yet either. Navi's going to try and hunt this down.
Yeah, Navi just overwhelming them towards middle there. You see NiP set up in the little crossfires, but like I said, Seized just needs one flashbang. He can jump through semi-blind and it'd be a complete nuisance with that Mac-10. If he finds one kill, that's such a huge benefit to him. He gets $600. He's made a 1-for-1 exchange. And now Pitt, he's trying to save his AWP, and I don't think that's going to happen. Edward will find him. That's big. It equals things up at 10-10. And that's going to be NiP on a full eco here for sure. They can probably get some upgraded pistols, but this is when Navi get really deadly now. We thought NiP won that pistol, getting that 3-0. They'll be in touching distance at that point, but now this gets a bit scary. We know how strong Navi are on this side. It's not just necessarily Guardian. He's actually pretty quiet on the T side traditionally. It's his teammates, Seized, Zeus especially. Flamey chimes in as well. But those are the headline acts on the T side. Well then, here it is. Full eco pretty much. Upgraded pistols, flashbang, smoke. We'll see if they do any sort of stack, maybe boost up towards drop down, see if you can find that first kill.
Exist. Freiburg, Forest, Pitt. All on B.
Yeah, you can see it's a very similar setup as well. Seized, although he lost the Mac-10 last round, he's more than happy to purchase it again this time. $1,200, gets you $600 a kill. Going first, and they're up there, armor players as well, so pretty simple situation here. They do find the first couple of kills, and now it's going to be 3 players remaining for NiP.
He's just waiting to see if a boost comes up so we can start to farm back that cash. As they have lost 1 man. Flamey's gone down, but they've found 2 of their own with Freiburg and Exist falling on the NiP side. It's Zeus with bomb. Still a lot of pressure on this B site from NiP, and no consideration so far, although there is a minute left to work with for Na'Vi, but no consideration so far to go back toward the A site. And they are still going out toward B platform as 2 players spotted by Zeus. He goes to the AK to try and catch out Forrest. Good shot from Guardian, finds the other 2 remaining, but an AK dropped. Not grabbable for Forrest. It stays up on top of the ledge.
Yeah, not really much he can do. They know exactly where he is. He hasn't managed to pick up that AK-47, so rotates down towards middle. I guess he's going towards the B halls and try and surprise them, have that sort of element going in his favor, but at this point, obviously, it's going to be pretty hard for him to do anything with this. Edward's ready for it as well. Takes him down. There it is. And Na'Vi, they now take the advantage as well. So those both halves now, they lose the pistol, but they fall back in that second round. That's such a huge storyline here. NiP need to work on these rounds, these second round buys. They were very sloppy in them. They gave too much away. Get right, overextending. Like I said, we saw that a lot of ECS. He had a great first half, but if they end up losing this game because of those kind of mistakes, he won't be happy with his performance. Well then, lots of money available for NiP. Interesting enough, they didn't actually go for the double orb setup or even a single orb setup. Like I said, I think it's more beneficial for a team like this. They haven't got that superstar AWPer. Forrest can AWP and he can do it to a good level, but I think he's so good at the rifles, get the crossfire set up, let's hold them off in a more traditional sense here.
And Guardian's going to get boosted out toward B. Common boost spot. More so lately as well because of those stairwells. You can see exactly what Guardian's trying to spot, but look at the flames coming in. That's actually quite clever.
That napalm strike coming in, that's pretty cool. So, like you said, that's very standard boot right now, so the CTs obviously have been doing their homework and how they can counter that and stop that being a possibility. That's pretty cool. And it will not amount to too much here. That's the big problem is, you can see NiP's utility, there's 1 minute 15 remaining. They've got 3 flashbangs, they've got nothing else, so that's expended almost everything they had.
It was nifty, though, I will say. Something that we could potentially see used more from teams in the future. Good shot from Pitt. Takes down Edward. That was the fast entry. They're going to follow that up. Flamey's the second man in. He gets the trade. That's his job, but he's taken down by Get Right in the end. Back and forth round, though, as Zeus is going to find him. So we sit back and wait for the next kill. It's Freiburg to find it. Guardian to pull it back once more. We stay dead even. 2 versus 2. No bomb toward the site just yet, but a late smoke will allow the cross. And Guardian's going to get toward the chicken coop as well to try and find the shot onto Pith, Freiburg, but bomb goes down before that. So a one-on-one. Forrest knows where Guardian is, or at least did. The noise will give it away again as he picks up the bomb. He just needs to play this out, try and find the angle. Smoke's dissipated. Thankfully, he's in behind the rock in its entirety, so he's not exposed to Guardian. And does he try and tap out the plant, potentially bait him out? No, he holds it, and he holds it at a very odd angle because Forrest is easily able to spot him.
He's assuming he's kind of rotated round. Maybe he's gone towards drop down through the window at that point. Forrest did give his position away, but it's quite standard at that point. You think, well, I know they know exactly where I am now. I'll move around. Guardian kind of banking on that very disciplined and patient play there from Forrest. Hiding behind the rock, didn't give anything away, waiting for the plant to come in. He's got a huge advantage in that sense. It's the terrorist has to make the next move. You know he has an AWP as well, so he can't really come lurking and looking for you. We tie things up at 11-11. Problem is, NiP did go down to just 1 player remaining. So if they do lose this round, that potentially means another double eco coming in. There's still tons of money available for Na'Vi here. Hard beat play coming in. They are finding kills there. Unfortunately not to win the 1 versus 1. You can see NiP, Famous, Max 7 this round. They are struggling.
11-11.
Oh.
As NiP pull that back. Make a wish, Henry. I won't ask you what to do because you always give me some other bogus response. You refuse to be optimistic about wishes, but Pith, he's optimistic with the EWP. He'll take down Edward. Get right as well. Up close, Meg 7 flashed up 2, make it 3. He's just shooting ducks. It's duck hunt all over again. Welcome back to Nintendo. As Seized is going to get flashed up, 30 HP to work with. Bomb down in front of him, has to commit to this. Secondary flash, no peek. Finally there will be. They know exactly where he is. They'll play this out, start to build up their cash. Avoiding reset is the goal, remember, because it was 5 rounds to the one that NiP just got. Now it's 2. A good job done. They've started to build up their bank already.
Yeah, absolutely. $900 per kill, but Get Right as well. That's absolutely perfect. We talk about this gun being very situational. It's definitely very well used on Cobble, especially towards this broken wall area and now the new steps as well. If you can time it well, like Get Right just did to perfection, that's amazing. They were struggling that round. That would have been the full reset, like I said, so that's huge for NiP to win that. They take back the lead as well. They haven't broken Na'Vi just yet. It's going to take 1 more round to do that, but definitely a step in the right direction. They now have got a stronger buy coming forward. 4 rifles, Pit back on the AWP. He's just going to be playing towards the back of the B side for now. He's more the turret style AWP. He's not going to be the flashy player trying to go for those first picks. He's just good at hitting those standard shots, and that's all you need in these sort of situations.
So they are setting for an A strat. Again, Molotov's looking likely to drop toward the hayloft. Guardian checking it with AWP instead. Why not? Give full faith to Guardian. He's proved it time and time again. Boost up as well to find the off angle. Peek out toward that right side, and Forrest is there, so good anticipation, but will they consider it late? Not to mention as well, Freiberg in the corner. He needs to pull the aggro Forrest. He's burned alive. He's forced out by the Molotov, but smartly gets one kill before going down. They have spotted Freiberg, though. And his escape plan, well, a Molotov of his own and down through danger. Interestingly enough, Flamey's already gone by him. So he can actually flank him out, but Flamey's aware of it, gets the call from his team, relayed information, turns back and finds the kill. As he Molotovs off toward vents, that'll cover off part of the stairwells as well as it goes through. This is even more clever. Get right again. 1, 2. Oh, the third almost lined up, but he takes his time taking Edward. That gives Flamey a second, but Exist is there to trade it. And C's now left in a 1 versus 2. Good position, though. Peth has no idea he's here. He's still considering shooting through the doorway for the cross, but C's, he's already made it in. So this could pay off, but he's not confident fully in trying to peek out. 25 seconds, has the bomb. This kill on Pith could be in the rotation onto B. He's going to run it right away, and it's going to be Exist that has to hunt him down. No kit, but he could pick one up on the way through, as his teammate who just perished did have one, and in fact, he's going to try to be clever about this and go for a full flank. That's going to eat up a lot of time. He did pick up a kit, but it's going to eat up a lot of time just getting there.
The problem is now he goes into that bomb site with actual no information whatsoever. He can't see any rotations. C's could be absolutely anywhere at this stage. Luckily for him, though, he's actually banking on the fact that Exist is coming from that connector or drop-down zone, so he hasn't got himself in a really advantageous position. He's waiting here as Exist comes towards the upper platform, but you can see C's kind of sensing that now. Yeah.
And Seized is waiting for it. Exactly that. Timing is everything. Exist making a ton of noise. He had to go quickly when he got there. He didn't leave himself any options, and it's too easy for Seized. They'll pull this back immediately. 12-12. We stay dead even. Remember, winner of this best of 1, straight back through to legendary status. Both these teams achieved that in the last major. Na'Vi in the final. NiP in the quarters, with Threat playing, oddly enough, in that event.
That is true. That was a strange event, wasn't it, for them? But they still managed to get the legendary status. Let's see what they can do this round. 12-12, like you said. That's a very intelligent round there from C's. Like you said, great positioning, got himself in towards that vent room. And once he had that position, you can see Pip. Oh, it's such a difficult position to hold. He's holding there with the orb. He's got 2 positions to hold. He's not really anticipating that the balcony room could be a sort of possibility there. They're now on to Eco. They get $1,900 next round, so they can squeeze out a buy just about. Get-Right did such great work in that previous round as well. That nice little tight corner, found 2. Almost got 3, like he said, but it wasn't quite enough to win the round. Number 25 is going the distance here. But it will be Na'Vi taking the advantage for sure here, as we can see. NiP don't really have much to work with. P50s and 3 default pistols as well. No grenades. It's just a matter of time. Na'Vi playing this quite smart as well. Getting out towards long 8. Lots of information gathered and a kill picked up as well. That's Freiberg going down on the A side, completely open.
So it should be pretty straightforward to close it out, and C's will get all the information that they are to be tunnels, even if they want to try and take them down and get guns. He's going to make that problematic. Smartly keeps his angle open. There is a display cabinet there. Can't quite get around the corner comfortably, but does get a shot nonetheless. And no guns grabbed. All 5 stay alive. NiP anti-eco, or rather their eco, not achieving much at all.
Well,
now they'll buy in again. Question is, and they don't have it. They don't have an AWP. They can't afford it.
Yeah, definitely not. You can see they're struggling. No kits. Well, Get-Right does get one. He's gone for the Mag 7 here. He's trying to boost up the utility a little bit more, but he's got the kit. Like I said, the Mag 7, a disadvantage on most maps, but as long as you're smart and you can choose your positioning well, it can be very viable on Cobble indeed. Freiberg struggling a little bit more. He's got the FAMAS, but this is a big chance for Na'Vi to run away with this one. The loss bonus hasn't really accumulated for NiP just yet. They get $2,400 next round and be almost certainly an eco if they lose this one. And that'd be so close to match point at that stage. So something creative, I think, needs to come out here. I can see players gathering towards drop-down room. Left Forrest by himself towards A. But this point is more of a default stance once again from Na'Vi.
He's anticipating a counter boost at drop. Just going to fire into the smoke. Make sure anyone who dares show their head gets it torn off. Whack-a-mole style. We've had Duck Hunt, now we got Whack-a-mole. We're going classic.
Yeah. It's my sort of style. Well, you can see Na'Vi now. They have got control towards long A at the moment. Zeus and Edward being very patient indeed. They know NiP have had presence here before. There's crossfires between Forrest and Freiberg, but not getting anything for this, so they will be opting back towards B, not leaving a lurk potential either. So Forrest, he's watching danger, trying to get something out of this situation, but has to face towards middle. This could be perfect, you know. Could get this one kill, but Zeus rips his head off. Lovely stuff from him.
It's a good entry so far. Exist forced back. Flamey has control of drop. Freiburg's going to try and make a play here to catch Zeus off late, but he finds him with the AK instead, so there's no chance for a flank potential. And in fact, on that kill alone, knowing that Forrest is pushed so far forward, having drop controlled, he's looking for information. They know NiP's in B. Bomb goes back over to A, and it's Pith left in another 1-on-5 situation.
That's pretty much the headline in this round. NiP's had nothing to work with there. They're up against the roast of the buy regardless. They have no grenades. Forrest not getting anything towards long. He has no idea if they're near that position. Pause comes in now, but at this point, what's the pause going to amount to? One more round will be match point for Navi. The money, like I said, $2,400 coming into this round. So do they go all in? Do they go for the force buy, or they try and play for overtime now?
And Navi knows the money situation. We heard the cheer at the end of that round. That's the loudest cheer we've heard from them yet. I'm not sure if it was conveyed through the stream or not, but they obviously understand how important that is, just to get a chance to go on to 15 with relative ease against very little weaponry. So a late timeout from NiP. You talked about it before, how Navi tends to get a little emotional in their timeouts. NiP, I imagine, in this case, would be listening more to threat.
Yeah, he's a very cerebral mind. He's not going to let the emotion or the stuff that's going on in game affect his decisions right now. He knows what they need to do. I'd say this. Oh, okay. I was about to say I thought they may go for overtime. It looks like they will be forcing into this one. An interesting decision. Freiburg, he's got the FAMAS. The unpause comes in. Fro will be making the call right now. He'll be trying to come up with something, try and work out what the next move is. Do we go for this force buy? Do we do a full stack? Do we go for a push?
I'm just noticing, though,
Go on.
that as Freiburg bought that, he made a gesture with his hand.
So what?
Yeah, well, did we just had a reset on the round?
We did. So
what I was going to say is Freiburg made a gesture with his hand and said something along what looked like with body language is like, oh, whoops, I bought. And no one else did. So that might have been a mistake. And then the round got reset. I'm curious as to what the reset was called for, because if that's a mistake buy on his part,
that's not really cricket, is it? You buy up and then you say, oh no, misbuy, I need to reset the round. Maybe
well, that's why I'm wondering if the reset was already called before that. Because that's super interesting to me, and no one else bought, and everyone kind of looked at Freiburg when he did.
Yeah, I don't think you can call for a round restart because you misbought. I don't think that's a thing.
That's not a thing. Absolutely not on.
So he definitely bought the FAMAS. I don't think you guys saw on your screen, but if that's the reason he called it, that's a little bit shady. But there could be other reasons. We have no idea. We're just speculating right now.
100%. Well, that's the one thing I will say is maybe the technical issue already existed, and the round reset was already called from the admins. It definitely was a technical call from NiP to start the timeout, but maybe there was something else spotted. Could have been just an e-bot reset to make sure if we go into overtime, if that happens, that everything's tickety-boo and there won't be any issues. We know he's sometimes a little bit temperamental.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, we said it before, that money situation is in tatters. It's a very difficult decision right now. I'd say take all the time you can. Let's discuss how we go forward in this situation. Options are right now, Matt, you go for SMGs, a couple of FAMASes, maybe a shotgun, and you need to be going for that first, but you can't allow Navi to fully execute on a site. You just won't win. It won't happen. Someone needs to step up here. Maybe I was about to say maybe a scout or something like that. That's pretty much, if you want to get a first pick towards middle, hope if Forrest lands some sort of sick headshot. But I'd say flashes towards middle, try and be a little bit more stacked towards the A side. Navi have been going for that default to start. Work A at the start of the round, get control, then fall back towards B. It's pretty standard for a T side in the top echelons of the scene. But for me, I'd say it might be more beneficial to go for the overtime at this point. If you do go all in, it's very unlikely you're going to win that round. Let's get the guns up next round. We get maximum loss, no, 4 stage loss benefits next round, so $2,900 on top of what they have right now. That'll be a nice full buy, and need to win 3 gun rounds. That's definitely possible. Going all in at this point, Deagles, FAMASes and stuff, very unlikely they're going to win the round. So it's definitely a tough call, but I'd probably go for overtime at this point.
I think that's going to be the call based on what we've seen. So freeze time's been cancelled. We're getting back underway. Navi, full arsenal of weapons, nades, the whole like. They've got an AWP on Guardian. And it is going to be NiP. Well, interestingly enough, they still force into this.
Okay,
they go
right.
pistols with utility, so it's not going to be the FAMAS bought out, but instead it's all pistols, all utility, a scout on Pith. They're down to 3 digits on most players. In fact, 0 left over for Get Right. They're going all in on pistols.
Well, they get $2,900 next round. If they don't win this one, they are absolutely done for. So this is it now, all in. 4 pistols, a scout. And Scout does have options on B, especially towards the B site. You can jump over that fountain area. You can see if there's kills available towards the upper platform. But once again, it's that A take, like I said before. It's Navi working this default, sticking together. The bomb's down, hunting for information right now, seeing if they can just work out and gauge the buy NiP are presenting towards them.
First thing is finding that information. Edward gets Freiburg down. Forrest caught in the open. Does get one, but Guardian finds him back with the AWP. A man advantage for Navi, searching for Legendary seeing his point to move through to the playoffs. It becomes easier still as Seas will find Get Right, Exist falls. Pith Last Alive does manage one with the scoot. As I go full Canadian, I have to do it at least once.
At least.
But he's going to try and actually get a little bit clever here and try and rotate back around. Smoke out in front of him won't allow easy access through. Flamey's very low. But speaking of Flamey, they're a little bit hot right now on Pith's feet. He's got to go back over to the balcony. Noise will give that away. Flamey holds angle down to 13. And I'm just going to save the scout. Why not? It's all he really can do. I know it's not much, but it's going to be map point for Na'Vi and no money for NiP.
Yeah, pretty much last chance saloon there for the pit. He was hoping he could do some sort of sick play of the scout, maybe find a kill, upgrade a weapon, something to work with going to the next round. But like I said, they've got no money right now. They get $2,900 going into the next. That means more of the same. They get upgrade the pistols, maybe they get some pharmacies, but there's not really much to work with. So that was the moment for them right there. They wanted to go all in, see if they can make something happen with the pistols. Did not work out at all. They get a couple of kills, but in the grand scheme of things, map, Na'Vi have got so much money going forward. It's potentially the last round here, 15-12, and the buy comes in. It's going to be the scout that was saved, and M4 dropped over, so that does kind of help, believe it or not, him just saving that one weapon. It boosts their chances somewhat. Here comes the final buy. M4, CZ, UMP, Forest yet to buy. Pith on the scout, another UMP. It's looking pretty bleak.
Looks very, very bleak. And all credit where credit is due. It has been a back and forth games, but a couple underlying factors. We'll touch on them, and I'm sure the desk will as well. As we head into what could be the end of it. Na'Vi a chance to go straight through to the quarterfinals. And NiP will have to play off against the winner of either Flipside or Optic, which comes up next in the decider match, a best of 3 tomorrow. Boost way back toward the wall at drop room just to see if anyone's going to boost up from the CT side. But right now, Edward probing out at long again, just looking for information. Is Na'Vi boost up from Freiburg, but no one to steal the aggro away at long corner. It's Freiburg instead, or excuse me, Forrest instead, that is down in that danger position. Edward jumps around. Think he would have just spotted up the first player in Freiburg and actually nails the shot when he does so. It's Zeus. Forrest flaming in it. Drop. Bye-bye. Get right. And we'll soon surely wave goodbye to Pith and Exist as well. In this moment, going to try to jump through, catch them off. Flamey finds him. Exist 1 versus 5. And I dare say this game is no longer to Exist because 16-12, Flamey will close it. And Na'Vi, well, they're legends once more. NiP, a little bit more work to do. Back and forth. Now, I said there was a few underlying factors. 6 rounds for Na'Vi. That's 1 more than their average on the CT side. We knew their T side was going to be good, but twice, NiP win pistols and lose the eco. That is massive.
That's what lost in this game. So many key errors in those rounds. Those are big rounds to win. And it's not like Na'Vi did anything crazy sick against them. They didn't really read what they were doing. It was overextension, not taking areas properly, and that's what's costing those big rounds and ultimately lost in this game. Get right. Great in the first half. Fantastic at that point. He was getting full control, but it was Na'Vi that adjusted right in the nick of time, I have to say. They got themselves their 6 rounds in the CT half. It was enough. That's all they needed. And even losing both pistols, they always fight back with those force buys. And you can see that look on Get Right's face sums it all up. Great performance, but if he's not winning games and some key errors for him on those anti-eco situations, he'll be gutted.